For task 2, research and ideation, we need to very clearly define our research areas that we're going to be delving into for the final major project, and then outline 2 clear research statements. One of these statements needs to address production of your project, and the other statement needs to address the creative aspects of your project. These 2 statements should be clear and understandable to anyone, not just people like us, interested and engaged in being creative media professionals, but anybody. So, to this end, I've created this for us, which will give us a scaffold, a guide, to help you write your 2 clear research statements. The first one on production needs to include, but is not limited to, analysis of production techniques or tools, software, hardware that will be used to create your projects. Specific challenges or limitations or barriers that need to be overcome during production. How can the project's production process be optimized? Now, we've done quite a few projects at this point, haven't we? It's fair to say. So, we know what's coming. So how can we optimize our time? How can we ensure that a high quality final product will be with us in 3 months' time? Be reflective, honest. Think about times it hasn't quite worked out before. How can you optimize things? We'll talk more about that in class. What are the industry standard production practices that need to be followed? Industry standard. Continuously reflect on what does industry do? What software, what hardware, what practices, what rehearsal, what iterative design thinking aspects do they use? What methods, techniques, how do the greats do it? It's difficult to know how to be great unless we study greatness. This research task 2, the final major project, gives us a chance to look at the greats in your particular domain and area and to figure out what industry standard is. What's the North Star we're aiming at? What role does technology play in the production of this project? How can the production process be streamlined, simplified, elegantly laid out on a path, a production schedule to reduce costs and increase the efficiency? Don't want you having to pay too much if we can use software, hardware, rooms, actors, resources that are available in your time here at the college. In terms of the creative aspects, have a think about what unique creative elements will be incorporated into the project. So what you're doing that's unique, original, as much as we can ever be original within your project. Photography, audio, the copy itself, the words. How does the project differentiate itself from other media productions in the same genre or category? Thinking back to last week's ideas generation task, what are you going to be remixing, as it were? Reducing, reinventing? Or is it just a typical expected piece of work that is generic? Reflect on that. How can the project's creative vision be effectively communicated to the target audience? How are you going to be making clear what it is you are setting out to do to your audience? Through the typography, through the photography, through the cinematography, through the mode of address, the the voice of the text, as it were, the way it communicates through the tone of voice of the voiceover. Have a think. What specific creative inspirations or influences will be incorporated into the project? Think about who those, again, North Stars are in your project. What are you aiming at? What are you going to extract and apply into your work? What creative techniques or processes will be utilised to bring the project to life? What have you seen that you like, that you want to take and then apply? Quite similar to the question above that one, but this is more about the processes and the techniques as opposed to the more general inspirations and influences. But by all means, you could write those two bits together. And lastly, for the creative research statement, how does the project's creative vision align with the broader cultural trends or themes, our context, our time? How does it align with broader cultural trends or themes? Some of you looking at topics in relation to automation and artificial intelligence. Well, at the time of recording this, February 2023, where the rise of ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence machine learning tools is worrying, terrifying, inspiring in equal measure across the world, projects around that topic are quite timely. They tap into the culture, the zeitgeist, the spirit of the time, and themes that we are talking about at the moment in our culture. What are your themes or cultural trends that you're tapping into with your project? Think about context again, the time, the place, the moment in history that we find ourselves in. How does it tap into that? A reminder that a research statement should be clear and understandable to anyone. Be specific and concise. Now, bringing it back to the brief, I want to just go over what else we're looking for once we've got those research statements created, because that's just the beginning, really. You then need to conduct your research, select sources relevant to your project, books, journals, essays, websites, videos, animations, whatever it might be. Ask questions such as, what does your selection represent? The choices that you've selected? How does that inform your project? Who is the intended audience for your project? So, who are you creating this for? How do people look at it? How is it embedded in a wider cultural context? Ask whatever is appropriate for your project, and it's that question asking, that interrogation, that analysis, that continual thinking about the project and your research and what that means that will ultimately dictate your success. Thinking about your research in a deep and meaningful way and why you've made those choices. And who's the audience for the research that you've selected, the sources you've selected? How do people look at those sources, those research sources that you have looked at, those inspirations? Think about how they fit into the wider cultural context. This continual asking of questions is what I'm looking for. I want to see you reflect the whole way through in this research task. Outline precisely why your selected item, that is your research source that you've chosen, is relevant. Why is it useful? You might like it, and that's all well and good, but what are you taking from that? How do people look at it? How does that fit into our wider cultural context? Who's the audience? What are you going to take from it? All of your research needs to go into a Google Slides file. It's really important that you do this. Continual reflecting on the sources that you're taking inspiration from. So in your first slide deck, the research presentation, we'll call it, you're going to be including your research statements and looking into sources relevant to your project. Aim for 5. The second part is looking at ideation. That is the generation of ideas. You should document all the ideas that you generate, even the rough ones. Like last week in our ideas generation lesson. Got some nice evidence to put in there already, haven't we? And the production experimentation that you undertake all the way through the project, that is. I want to see every iterative process, notes, sketches, writing, images, annotated images, links, videos, moodboards, storyboards, doodles, every single post-it, half-formed idea. I want to see everything in there as is appropriate for your project. I want to see you explore, I'll say it properly, you must explore a variety of ideas, techniques and processes. Don't sleepwalk into old habits. Open your mind and try new things. I want to see you at the edge of your abilities, experimenting, trying new things. New software, new hardware, new people, new approaches, new methods, new ways of working. I want to see all that documented. And that will be in your ideation presentation. Also a Google Slides file. So, 2 deliverables for this part of the FMP. The first one, research presentation, will include your research statements on production and creative aspects, as well as your research into your sources that you're going to take and extract meaning and inspiration from. Aim for 5. And then we've got your ideation presentation. This will include all of your experimentation, all of your ideas through the process. This covers quite a lot of criteria, as you can see. I want to see you use research to support the development of your idea, analyse and evaluate why you are taking the ideas you are, what you're taking from them, weigh them up. Are they fit for purpose? Are they of use? Looking to find solutions, aren't we? Look at the language in this criteria. Solutions. Solve. I want to see you think about practical and technical problems, as well as theoretical, idea-related problems, as it were, issues that you encounter in this early stage of the final major project. The criteria, again, just to make this very clear, is as follows. You've seen this all the way through year 2, so you know what I'm looking for. Past level of research will be sufficient. Information will be gathered and documented to develop ideas. For merit, it will be thorough and sustained and investigates relevant sources, interpreting, understanding, taking meaning from, synthesizing, putting things together into your idea. It will inform and support and develop ideas. It won't just be sufficiently identified for a pass. It will be applied and synthesized into your idea, developing and supporting. For distinction, you'll work independently and go beyond the lessons. Investigate a range of relevant sources, so at least 5 sources. Insightful interpretation, thoughtful, deep thinking about why those sources are useful, exactly what you're going to take from them. And a synthesis of information to inform and support those ideas. Distinction is sustained and thorough, really investigating and thinking deeply. In terms of problem solving, for a pass, sufficient exploration of different ideas will be demonstrated. For merit, there'll be initiative shown, a bit of get up and go, no complaining. Problem solving, adapting to unforeseen practical and theoretical challenges to achieve goals, showing initiative. For distinction level problem solving, decisive demonstration of initiative and effective problem solving, autonomous, that is, independent, implementing of creative solutions, and adapting to unforeseen practical and theoretical challenges. So that distinction level again, independent, decisive, creative. For merit level, thorough, effective, and synthesizing things together. For a pass, sufficient, okay, competent. There we go then. Long video, wasn't it? Sorry. Trying to be detailed though, aren't I? So you can watch it back if you want. There we go. 2 Google Slides presentations. 1 on research, 1 on ideation. As ever, speak to me in class if you need help with anything at all, and of course on Google Chat as well.